This is Kaipacho with the weekly Pele Report for June 8th of 2016. I'm in my backyard with the pepper plant. See those little peppers? Those are little peppers coming up. Anyway, just going to do a little tour here as I say where the astrological aspects are for this week. I did my... How about that weekend? How about that weekend? Oh, por Dios. Yeah. Sun, Venus, Moon conjunction in Gemini. I did my webinar on Saturday. I don't know if you caught it. It's still, I think, free on YouTube, Google Plus, or whatever. It was a hangout on air. Very powerful, intense weekend. I'm sure that you felt it, whether you knew what the heck was going on or not. And, you know, that was also squaring the moon's nodes. And then we had a Sun-Venus conjunction that happened on Monday, starting a new 584-day Venus synodic cycle. I'm going to talk a little bit about that Venus synodic cycle as I walk around the backyard over here and move into the aspects. Today, the moon is in Leo, the lion. And she's going to stay there until Friday when she goes into Virgo. And then she's going to be moving through Virgo to a first quarter square. Moon square Sun. First quarter Sun still over there in Gemini. Okay, going on with Venus. Moving along. This is Sun-Venus conjunction goes on for more than a day. It goes on for a couple of weeks. They're just traveling together through Gemini. The moon is going to be at 21 degrees Virgo while the sun is at 21 degrees of Gemini still. That is on Sunday. The square, we'll talk about the first quarter square maybe. And then on Sunday later on that night, okay, the moon moves into Libra and stays there until Wednesday. And she goes into Scorpio. But what I really want to be talking about a lot, you know, today is what's going on this week, and that is Mercury is moving through Taurus, late degrees of Taurus, opposing Mars, okay, which is moving through the late degrees of Scorpio. So we have a Mercury opposite Mars, Taurus, Scorpio axis. Going to talk about that a little bit. What else? Well, that Mars is trine Chiron. So Mercury is going to be sextile Chiron. And that is moving slow enough to be effective and going on all week. Kind of, you know, showing us a little bit about what's happening there. And on Sunday, Mercury then, you know, kind of completes that square, all right, in that opposition, I'm sorry. That opposition with Mars as it goes into Gemini. And then we're going to have a Sun, Venus, Mercury, all in the sign of Gemini there for just a couple of days. I think Venus goes into Cancer a little later on next week. Monday, probably, you know, the last event here or whatever aspect that I need to be bringing forward is that Neptune stations and goes retrograde, which Neptune does one time a year. Yeah, it goes retrograde for just about half the year, okay? And that time is coming up now. So, you got all those aspects? Let me just find a little place here to face the camera, talk about them, give you one last final shot of some more peppers. Because Mars opposite Mercury is peppery. Time for some peppers. Okay, everybody. Well, first things are I got some announcements to make. I mean, first of all, I don't know if you can see it, but like Angelina, I want to thank you for this t-shirt with my astrological birth chart on it. Hello. How super cool is that? Angelina and Jeff Grunland, I will put a link to their site. They're making these shirts, and it's, you know, fantastic cotton and it's wonderful, smooth, good stuff. So Taurian, nice. Sun Venus feels good, and it's got your birth chart on the front of it. Whoa! Yeah, thank you for that, and yeah, check out that link below and get your own chart with your. I've been wanting to do it for like 30 years. I always wanted to like print T-shirts with, you know, where people could have their charts on it. These guys did it. I thought about it. Anyway, what else? Hello, June 4th, we launched Astrology Rising, Co-Creating the Future. The astrology convention of all times happening next May in Costa Rica. You got to go to the website, check it out. Grab your tickets now. It's going to be fantastic on Flamingo Beach, one of the most beautiful beaches in Costa Rica. Come on down. It's awesome. Yeah. And what else? Yeah, this webinar that I did, you know, I went for like over an hour and a half on this whole, it's not just the Grand Cross, okay? It's also this T-square of Jupiter opposite Neptune squaring Saturn that has been going on since, you know, last fall in the northern hemisphere. So we'll just say, you know, September, October, November. Okay, even before that, Jupiter was square Saturn when it first, you know, was in late Leo to Scorpio last August. Anyway, the seeds were sown then, and we're now dealing with like the third quarter. You know, it's Saturn coming into a third quarter square to Neptune, Jupiter coming into a third quarter square with Saturn. Okay, and the Sun Venus coming into a third quarter square with Jupiter. I mean, third quarter, third quarter, third quarter is crisis in consciousness. It's the 270-degree aspect. It's actually like a Capricorn aspect, okay? You know, so that the seeds are sown a long time ago. The first quarter square of 90 degrees, we sow the seeds. We put them out. Okay, then they mature. Okay, you know, with that opposition, and it opens up and shares. And then what? It disseminates. It goes out and starts to come back to us socially, mentally, the results. It's kind of a karmic square. It's a karmic axis. What goes around comes around. Yeah? So this is a time of, you know, in some ways reaping what we have sown or not sown. Tweaking, adjusting, modifying, reworking. Okay, you know, stuff that, you know, has been, so I mean, it's really interesting because with this Jupiter North Node in Virgo, I know I've been talking about a year of purification and purging and release and work and this and that, but mark my words, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, we're going to look back at 2016 and we're going to say, you know what? That's when it all really took form. That's when it all really got off the ground. That's when it all got started. I think of the Wright brothers, you know, inventing the airplane. You know, it's a lot of tweaking and a lot of work, and they try it and it crashes, and they try it and it crashes. Who knows how many times they crashed before they got that sucker to fly. That's what this year is about. There is real opportunity happening. Okay, with this grand square, it's creative tension. So yes, it's tense, and we're all under a lot of pressure, and there's a lot going on, like especially now with this Gemini stuff. It's like, you know, you can't empty your inbox. You know, you can't catch up on your WhatsApp or your Google Hangouts or, you know, your Facebook or whatever. It's just like talk about information overload. Oh my God. And this is Mercury opposite Mars. You know, it's just, and Mars coming from the 8th house. This is like the bank. Or the powerful shaman, or the other teachers, or the sexual intimate partner, or whatever. You know, really Mars in Scorpio. You know, and here's Mercury in Taurus. Mercury in Taurus, you know, maybe wants to go into the cave, go into the, you know, hermit stage, retreat, but is being like confronted. So what this, what this does is, I mean, Mercury, Mars is like the planets of debate, verbal debate. It can be arguing, it can be fighting, it can be even going to court, okay, over divorce settlements, over money, over sex, over power. This is the Taurus Scorpio axis. What's mine and what's yours? Let's be clear about that. And I think of Mars as, it went through Scorpio, for quite a while there. Then it went into Sag. And it was like, okay, it took off to the store, like I'm building a house, I'm going off to the lumber yard and I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff. And I go into Sag and I got this dream and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to build this, that, and the other thing. And then it's like, get to the lumber yard, forgot my wallet. Got to turn around, go retrograde. Go back. So Mars is going retrograde back into Scorpio. Time to renegotiate. Okay, time to, deal with the bank, deal with the resources, the shared resources. This is what Scorpio is about. And so I really want to, I want to get into this a little bit. I'll give you the mantra early today because I want to talk about the mantra a little bit. Being the shapeshifter, trickster, magician of Gemini, Sun, Venus, and Gemini right now, I have to go a little bit into this. And if you listened to that webinar, or have a chance to listen to that webinar, I'm going to put it up on the website now. The New Paradigm Astrology community, I'm going to send it out to you in the community. And if you're not in the community, it's going to be in the New Paradigm store. But I talked about the quadrinity. Yes, the quadrinity symbolism of Gemini, because it's 2 male twins, 2 female twins, Helen and Clytemnestra, okay, Castor and Pollux. So we're dealing with 2 sets of twins, and 2 of them are godly, okay, Zeus's children, and 2 of them are earthly. So we have the heavenly and the earthly, as well as the masculine and feminine. And this creates this 4-fold symbolism. Gemini is really a complex sign. And I went into all of this in that thing, so I'm not going to go into it today in the Pele Report. But one thing that I will be talking about is this earthliness, because this Mercury is moving through Taurus. And I said that I was going to talk about the mantra. I'm coming out of lethargy and ready to create and gather all the money, as much as it will take. How about that? I said it, the dirty word, and it's in a spiritual mantra. A mantra with money in it? Oh my God. Come on, man. This is the taboo. And I talked about this in the webinar, and so I got to follow through on this stuff. Mars going into Scorpio is power, and money is power. And Taurus is my money, and it's earthly. And Jupiter in Virgo, if you want to get something done, if you want to complete something, if you want to get something to work, okay, take your car into the shop, it's going to cost you some money. you want to build a healing center, it's going to cost you some money. Let's get real. And we all have, okay, the patriarchy thousands of years has ingrained within us, okay? Money is evil, money is bad, don't go after money, don't be selfish, don't be greedy, don't be da. We've had all these patriarchal religions, whether you call it the Illuminati and the government and the bankers trying to control and manipulate us. Okay, whether you call it victim consciousness and martyr, oh, there's not enough, there's not enough, there's not enough. Scarcity consciousness. Okay, this is really big with Taurus, Scorpio axis, nothing's free, there's not enough, and there's and we have to go into all this kind of stuff. And so even like, so we get into these spiritual groups and we're all born, and it's like, okay, let's talk about prosperity. Let's talk about abundance. You know, it's like we come up with other words. You know, it's like let's frame it in a new way or in a different way, or not really talk about the guts and the bones and the blood of it. You know, it's freaking money, man. And I don't care if it's euros or dollars or yens or whatever the hell it is. It's a means of exchange. It's a means of exchange. It's energy. Yeah, for the love of money. Okay, love is energy. Money is energy. Time is energy. Okay, it's like energy, 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 and it's energy exchange. And this is what we're really looking at if we want to bring in a new paradigm, if we want to bring in a new world, if we want to bring in anything from concept into manifestation. Okay, it's going to take this physical energy, and physical energy can be represented as the great money. So I'm encouraging us now in the signs of these times. Okay, the name of that webinar was, you know, understanding the needs of the time. Some of the understanding the needs of the time is to get over, we talk about purging. Well, let's purge some of this old BS. Okay, that something is not spiritual. What is not spiritual? Everything is spirit. Everything. It's basically, we can look at unmanifested and manifested. Pisces is unmanifested. It's the dream. It's the mystic. It's the multidimensional, universal, you know, oneness principle. The opposite of that is the manifested, Virgo. Yeah? So we have the unmanifested and the manifested. And the unmanifested can be perfect because it's not manifested. It's a concept, it's an idea, it's a dream, it's a hope, it's a wish. There's where we get these ideals of perfection. And we're coming into this North Node in Virgo. Okay, we Jupiter coming around to it. And it's like we got to take that and bump it down, okay, into Earth, into practicality, into, I mean, I just built a house, you know, and I had this ideal perfection of, what kind of a house I was going to build, right? And the house I've got is like nothing like what I imagined, you know. So, you know, we come into this sense or this idea of perfection and imperfection, you know, of right and wrong and everything, as we take something from the unmanifested into the manifested. And we have to gamble. Here's this moon in Leo today, speculation and gambling. Okay, and this moon is going to be moving around into Virgo, and we're going to have this square, okay, from Gemini to Virgo. And it's just about, you know what, it's time to break out. Okay, the seed needs to break through the soil. So it's a really positive week, particularly Thursday. This moon comes around, you know, and makes a bunch of trines and sextiles, anyway, that's tomorrow. Some of you won't even hear this report by tomorrow. So yes, you know, Gemini, if I think about it, if we want to look at some of one of the least spiritual signs, it's Gemini for sure, man. I think of the least spiritual. So when you think of the earth signs, because like the earth has always been like, oh, the earth is not spiritual. It's sexual, physical, it's money, it's earthly. We go through this 2,000-year age of Pisces, and we renunciate, okay, you know, all of that. We go into celibacy, and the priests are celibate and, you know, suppressed or whatever, you know, the ashrams and all this and that, you know, so we step away from the earth if you want to be spiritual. So this is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And then you got, you know, the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You know, these are the thinkers, okay, you know, and thinking, you know, and the spiritual people call the thinkers the egotists. You know, like they're so in their heads and they're so, you know, about themselves and so egotistical and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, yeah. So you can think of the air signs. If anything, you can think of fire and water. This is what fire and water have in common, is this spiritual, element that is natural, okay, to the fire and water signs. But I want to get back to this Gemini energy now. This Mercury energy is thinking in thought forms. And I'm saying that fire, earth, air, and water, they're all spiritual. And let's stop drawing lines between, or saying that something is spiritual or not spiritual, and cross borders, live in this paradox of everything is sacred and everything is mundane. Yeah? It's just like, you've got all kinds of sacred sexuality, you've got profane sexuality, just material sexuality. And we don't want to label these things as wrong or bad. There's a time and a place and a season and a blah, 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 blah. So all I'm saying is, like, now, this week, and this month, and into July, with this Jupiter squaring Saturn, this is a business aspect, and it's time to get some business done. It's time to do some commerce. Mercury is commerce. Gemini is commerce and communications and sales and businesses. And I mean, this is a time to make it real, to make it happen, to come out of our realms of dreams of perfection and, oh, it's not good enough, and get grounded and just do our best and try to make it real. And if I go into this mantra, okay, that I want to come out of my lethargy, I want to come out of my dream state and create something, it's going to take this physical energy. And this physical energy is to gather it in, but it's also what I have found personally in my life. When I started giving, it started coming to me. There's something about our belief systems around scarcity and around money, that one way of breaking it, I got this from Leslie Temple Thurston, yeah, and Core Light. There is no such thing as loss and gain. Repeat that over 1 billion times to yourself. That's what I did. There's no such thing as loss and gain. That's an ego thing. And when we get over it, Jupiter in Virgo says give. If you want to receive, start giving. Just be a philanthropist. Start like giving it away. It's like, you know what, this is not mine. I'm moving this energy, I'm moving this money from one pocket to another. I am a channel, I am a medium. All this stuff is flowing through me. Open up your dam and let what you've got out. And you will find that the universe fills you back up again. That's what I found. It was when I gave away all my stuff. I gave away all my belongings and all my books, and I started like letting go of my money, and just because I didn't, I got into kundalini yoga, went nuts. I started giving, and oh my God, more came, so I could give it some more. And it's like the universe is, replenishing. I Ching says that which is empty seeks to be filled. That which is filled seeks to be emptied. So if you've got this little cookie jar full of $1 bills that and it's full, empty it out. And it comes back more. And that's what these third quarter squares are about. So let's move the energy. I'm saying both give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. Give and receive. Give and like, let's get it freaking going. Gemini is not patient. Aries and Gemini are probably the two least patient signs in the zodiac. It's like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. So let's move it along. This is the energy of the times. And like I say, this new Venus synodic cycle, 584 days, starting in Gemini. This is over a year, closer to 2 years, okay, of, Venus is setting the tone, and Venus has to do with money. She's the ruler of Taurus and the second house of money and resources. So she's setting the tone. And this tone is about, let's move it, yeah? Talk about it, network, commerce, communicate, get it together, find our tribes, unite our resources, and make this new reality real. Gemini's real, man. Get it down right here and now. That's Gemini. Alright, see if I can remember that frickin' thing. I'm coming out of lethargy and ready to create and gather all the money, as much as it will take. Haven't figured out the I in and. You don't want too many I's, you don't want too many ands. So, in coming out of lethargy, I'm ready to create and gather all the money, as much as it will take. May you roll around in bundles and piles of money and spend it spiritually. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.